All right. So Shifco offers about 3 events a month to the broader community of entrepreneurs and conscious entrepreneurs in particular. You can attend any events that you want for free. And if you want to join Shifco, great. You'll get a whole heck of a lot of coaching and training and mentoring and unbelievable support. But the work that we do is so important to us and to the world that we offer these events to anybody that wants to attend. I would highly recommend Meet the Experts. You're going to talk to one of our coaches who's our demand generation coach. So she works on how do you get more revenue. That's a focus for April. So April is all about revenue with today's event, Meet the Experts, and then Value Win. So April 17th, you'll actually get to meet Michelle Baker. She is one of our coaches. She's been with us for over 3 years. She's used the platform to grow, and her specialty is authentic selling and authentic demand generation. On the 23rd is Value Wins. Value Wins is based on a methodology of how do you build relationships with people so that you grow your connections authentically, and then your connections are what helps you grow your business. And it's really about understanding your value and how to articulate that, how to talk about that, and ultimately how to grow your revenue. So April is all focused on revenue growth, and those sessions line up with that. My background, I'm a business growth expert. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. I was president of a company that we took public in 1999, an internet company. Saw the underbelly of Wall Street and decided after September 11th that that was not for me. Started a business, sold it, yada, yada, yada. But in 2008, early 2008, I made this decision, sold my other business, and said, I want to make a difference and make money. And I created a portfolio called Share on Purpose. It's like a purposeful Shark Tank. We invest in conscious companies like Izzy Beauty. It's the first zero waste makeup line. It's amazing. And then we also created companies. So the 5 companies that we've created are Succeed on Purpose, Ignite on Purpose, Promote on Purpose, Talent on Purpose. And then number 5 was Shifco. So clearly I love to start purposeful businesses, and Shifco is where I spend 50% of my time. I have a great leadership team that runs those other companies, and I just support them and love what I do in Shifco. So today we're going to be talking about prosperity and how do we make this year, we're already 4 months into this year, I can't believe it. How do we make this year better than this last year, so 2023, or how do we make this second half of this year better than the first half? That's really what we're working on. And it's a combination of mindset and a tool that I'll give you today on mindset, but also energy. And how do you get your energy in alignment with your goals? Most of the time, our energy is not in alignment with our goals. Most of the time, we're worried about the future, or we're beating ourselves up over the past. And whenever we're worried about the future or beating ourselves up over the past, our energy is not in alignment with our goals. So today I'm going to give you a tool to show you how to do that. And it's part mindset. It's about 1/3 mindset and about 2/3 creating a energy alignment in your body that you will feel today so that it lines up with your goals. Now, to put that into perspective, Shifco manages or measures our success based on how well our members are doing. And you can see a big jump between 2021 and 2022. So this was a 1-year period. So as of July of 2021, about a little over half of our members had doubled their revenue. Big jump a year later. What happened in between there was this method that I'm going to teach you today, what we call the Prosperity Challenge, or LEAP. And then just to kind of put that into perspective, as of December 2023, almost 85% of our members have doubled their revenue. So we're proud of that. But what causes this to happen is some technical things that Shifco does that I'm briefly going to cover, but more importantly, the way in which we teach our members to manage their thoughts and manage their energy. And we have a whole team of people that help do that. And I'm going to actually show you the method today. You're literally going to walk away today with the same method we teach our members so that you can manage your thoughts and manage and get your energy to be in alignment with that. So the why Shifco works is we've got this great success team. We have this diagnostic prescriptive tool. I'm just briefly going to talk about that. Then we're going to get to the real powerful stuff. So this method of the conscious business growth platform, what makes this technical piece work is all the pathways are custom. So two people can join on the same day. They're not working in the same program. It's not like one of those programs where everybody goes through the same thing and it's like, I already know that, but I got to sit through that because that's the topic this week. It's not like that at all. So there's these different pathways depending on where your business is. And when you come in, we help you figure out what's the one thing that you need. And two members can start on the exact same day. Their business can be the exact same size. It can be the exact same business, but they're going to get two different prescriptions because one business might have some of these pieces and one business might have some of these pieces. So we've had this methodology from the beginning. Shifco's about almost 4 years old. We had this same methodology, and we were really proud of the fact that a little over a year in, about half of our members had doubled their income. But my thing is, I always wake up and, well, why haven't the other half, right? And when we really diagnosed why the other half hadn't done it, it really didn't have anything to do with the business growth training. So this was the big insight that we had in 2022. It wasn't the business growth training that helped that next group of members double their income. And that's when we really made a firm commitment. So this was end of 2021, early 2022. We made a firm commitment to support members in moving into a high performance mindset, which is 1/3 mindset and 2/3 energy. And we have this little tool that basically looks at where every member is and what's blocking their willingness. So willingness is going to be at the top. So I'm super willing. I want it to happen. I really want to be financially successful. I really want to make a big difference. My heart is in it. I'm there. What blocks willingness is FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So we developed and brought in some methods to help with that. Stagnant or stuck, I'm just going to kind of leave it out of the way. You wouldn't be here if you were there. But the other thing that happens is on the behavior side is we have to take action to apply the knowledge. We've all gone to conferences. We've all worked with coaches and trainers. And we've learned something. We're like, wow, I really need to do that. And we set it aside. And then we don't actually implement it in our business. So we began this process of introducing personal fuel tools, which you're going to get trained on today, to help our members shift their mindset and their energy. So if they were unfocused or inconsistent, or if they were stuck in FUD, they would move into this upper right-hand box. And that's where victory is. That's where the business becomes easier. That's where it becomes more profitable. That's where you increase your impact. So that's what I'm going to teach you today with this question: how can we make next year better than it is from, it's been up to this point? So first question for you is, what do you really, really want? And I'm going to give you about 30 seconds after I finish talking about this question to really figure out what it is that you want. And the prompt that I'm going to give you, the question that I want you to answer for yourself, is what do I want and why do I want it? What do I want and why do I want it? So I want you to take about 30 seconds, and you can put it in the chat. And Lisa, if you can monitor the chat, and if somebody does want to share, you can after the 30 seconds. But I want you to give yourself just 30 seconds to ask yourself, what do I want and why do I want it? So we'll wait about 30 seconds and we'll see what you come up with. All right, the 30 seconds are up. First thing that I want to share with you is from my research, 64% of the people that I've studied working in this mindset energy connection, 64% of the people weren't sure what they wanted. So if you struggled with that question, what do I want and why do I want it? There's a reason why you're struggling with that question. And if it came easily, that's great. But there could be something else going on. Does anybody want to share either out loud or Lisa, if there's any in the chat, share what you want and why you want it?
I'll share. I'm having trouble articulating it, so maybe speaking it out loud will help me. Is ultimately, I want the freedom to travel and live my life the way I want. But with that, I want to really help as many women as possible. I want to have retreats. I want them to feel empowered so they can keep paying it forward. Ultimately, I want to heal the mother-daughter relationship. So it's like a lot, but having that freedom for myself financially will allow me to do more of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so if we tighten it up and we say, and the tightening up is an important part of this, I want the freedom to make a bigger impact in my life and the lives of others. Does that encapsulate that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So that tightening up is a really important piece of the equation because when it's too many if this then that, it's really getting into the how, and we're going to get ourselves off track. So we want to keep it nice and tight. Anybody else want to share? Lisa, I think you're on mute.
There's a couple in chat. I can read them if that's okay.
Yeah.
I want to find a community of business owners, leaders who are interested in elevating their teams with ongoing nurturing of mind, emotions, and spirit. The why is because so many people are members of the quote unquote walking dead. I was there once there myself. That's one of three on here, Terry.
And so let's tighten that up. I want to attract rather than find. Find is effort. So I want to attract a community of leaders that want to make a bigger difference with through their teams, maybe. Does that tighten that up a little bit? I'm not sure whose that was.
Yeah, that's mine. I love the attract piece, Terry. Thank you again. You said attract a community. What did you say beyond that?
Attract a community of leaders that want to make a bigger difference through their people and teams.
Yeah, so it's more than so. What I'm trying to get to, and this helps, is it's beyond that. It's I want to attract that community that is interested in fundamentally elevating the human condition in the workplace. I mean, beyond just.
Ooh, that like I felt that. That right there, boom, put a period on that. That was powerful. Excellent, Elise.
Thank you.
Let's do one more.
Okay, I want a thriving coaching consulting practice that allows me to share my purpose with the world by helping second stage companies thrive while achieving time and financial freedom for myself and family.
Awesome. So with this one, I would the coaching consulting practice, what the challenge with that one is you're kind of inserting how you get there. And sometimes we can get there easier ways than just through that one door that we're forcing, this energy through. So I want a thriving business. What was the second part of that, Lisa?
That allows me to share my purpose with the world by helping second stage companies thrive while achieving time and financial freedom for myself and my family.
So I would tighten it up and say, I want a thriving business that brings me freedom, and putting yourself in the beginning of that sometimes I think is also helpful. That brings me freedom and allows me to serve I wouldn't be second stage, to serve clients in elevating their purpose and success, something like that. So as you guys got a chance to see that, the what do I want, why do I want it question, the tighter we can make that, the clearer it is to our mind. And we're going to talk today a lot about how the mind influences our energy and how our energy influences our mind. but there's a resonance with it. Like I felt it when Elise said that part about the human potential. I felt like the congruency of that. And what we're going for is this congruency, this alignment between our purpose, which is cellular, and our success, which is more on the human front, more on the mindset side. We want them to be in alignment. So play around with that and see if you can tighten it up. Feel free to email us if you want help kind of playing around with that. So now, what's standing in your way? Are you not sure what to do? Are you not confident that you can do it? So not sure what to do is going to be that bottom right-hand box. Do I do this? Do I do this? This person says this person says that. A lot of times we think other people have the answer and we don't realize that most of the answers are in here. So is it, I'm just not sure what to do and I'm getting stuck in that analysis paralysis, or am I not completely confident I can do it? Once we're clear, and again, 64% of the people that I studied were not clear. So that's the first thing, right? We just worked on that. Let's get clear and make it nice and tight. And we want to feel the congruency. We want to feel the yes in it. We want to feel the clarity in it. So then now what's standing in your way? Is it just, mentally you're stuck, or is it that you don't really feel like you can do it? We don't have to answer that today. But what we're going to be working on is the challenge with I'm not sure what to do, and the challenge with I'm not confident is the fact that we have this illusion that it should feel certain. And we have this illusion that certainty is the only way it can happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to break that down, and I'm going to show you certainty is an illusion, but you can create certainty in your body, which is what we're going to do today. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel a sense of, yeah, I got this. And we're going to talk about brain science and clarity, and then I'm going to show you the actual method. And then we'll just talk a little bit about community and connection and why that matters. So we crave certainty. There's a spot in our brain called the amygdala, or a part of our brain called the amygdala. And in the amygdala is where kind of the ego operates from. It's where our fears and our memories are stored. And that part of our brain doesn't like to take a step unless we know it will work. And so we get stuck in this back and forth of, will it work? I'm not going to take a step unless I know it's going to work. Can I do it? I'm not going to take a step unless I know I can do it. And we get paralyzed by this amygdala part of our brain that's craving certainty. So if we're not sure what to focus on because we're not certain it will work, then what happens is we get into this back and forth. And if we fear change, or we fear doing things in a new way, we get very stuck because we're craving certainty. And all of these things slow us down, and they slow down our ability to reach new goals. So part of what we have to do is we have to override the amygdala so that we're feeling a sense of peacefulness. Our energy is lined up. We're feeling like, yeah, we can do this. And then that override of the amygdala is how we're going to actually move forward. So some lessons from how do athletes do this. So if you think about athletes, and I don't know if you followed any of the March Madness, I certainly did. Those players that make those plays that are just unbelievable, pick one of the players, either from the men's or the women's side. And, when they, like that freshman for South Carolina, I can't remember her name, and she's making those she's a freshman. She's making those 3-point shots as if she's been doing it her whole life. Oh yeah, she has. She's making them as if she's playing in the WNBA. And they're in a pressure cooker situation where South Carolina was behind in the first half. And she steps up and she makes a 3-point, a freshman, and the team trusted her. So how do athletes train their brain to override this situation where if we're not certain? So there's a great tool that I love and I'm a heavy user of called Positive Intelligence. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. And what positive intelligence and other mind science avenues unpack is that there's these different regions in the brain. And what I loved about positive intelligence is what they taught me 6 years ago or so, 5 years ago, when I started using their platform, is that I could actually train my brain to be more certain. And I became fascinated with this idea that you can actually train your brain to think positively. You can train your brain to override your fears. You can train your brain to override your doubts. You can train your brain to take action even when you're not certain, right? So imagine that player, I wish I could remember her name, that freshman on South Carolina, who they're behind and they're going, it's the end of the first half, and they want to obviously catch up before halftime. And, Cordova, I think is her name, the big forward for them, passes her the ball on the 3-point line. And she just steps up and shoots. Not once did she think, can I make this shot? She didn't think that. She just basically took the ball and said, well, of course I can make it. And of course she did. So athletes have trained their brain to do this. So what I want you to do is, second part of this, before we get into the breakthrough method, is you have to have clarity about where you're stuck. So a minute ago, we got clear on what it is we want. What I want you to do now is to write down what's holding you back. Is it mindset? Is it fear? And be honest with yourself. I won't ask you to share this. I'll use some examples from the ones that are common. Is it you don't like the sales part of your business? It can be anything. It can be personal, it can be mindset, it can be, I don't know how to, it can be anything that you want. But go ahead and write that down. And then we're going to begin the process of changing the way that you're feeling about that. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to write down what's holding you back. All right, so let's explore this just a little bit. So back to this athlete, this freshman who shoots this shot, so that they almost catch up. I think that's actually was when they tied the score, and with that 3-point shot before they went into halftime. She was certain she could do it. Now, whether she did do it, missed the shot, made the shot, is completely irrelevant to her. She was certain she could do it. Now, here's the thing. People train their brains to do that. So if you're not feeling certain as you make that list of what's holding you back, that's okay, because you can train your brain to be certain. And the key is the willingness, which is energetic, and the behavior, which is mental. We need to get those two things lining up. Let me show you what I mean by that. So let's say that you put on the list that what was holding you back is fear. So when fear is driving you, you are in this hesitation mode. So just imagine if you were afraid to drive, and you press on the gas, press on the brake, look out too many things, press on the gas, press on the brake. Like there's this jerkiness, and you're not really in flow. Let's say, for example, that you weren't quite sure how to get new business, because that's common. Well, if it's mental and you're not sure what the technique is, what's going to happen is you're going to be very unfocused and inconsistent. The challenge is they look the same. Those two things look the same. So if I'm in FUD, I'm stop, go, right, left, second guessing everything, which is energetic and emotional. But if I don't know what to do, no one's taught me the specific skill that I need to grow demand generation, to get new clients, I'm unfocused or inconsistent. So stop, go, try this, that didn't work, try that, take this program, try that, oh, that didn't work. So they look the same is the challenge. The problem is they also feed each other. So if you stay in that bottom right-hand box, which is mental, what will happen is it will make you more afraid because you're in this stop, go, right, left. Should I listen to that person? Should I listen to this person? Instead of listening to yourself. So those athletes, they certainly have trained for it, but they trust themselves. They know, give me the ball, I'm going to make the shot. Like they trust themselves. They don't need somebody else to tell them that they're good enough. They don't need somebody else to tell them exactly how to do it. Take the shot now. They have this inner knowing. And what we teach our members through this method that I'm going to walk you through in a minute is how to get back into your inner state of power and that inner knowing, I've got this, I know what to do. And anything I don't know how to do, I'm going to figure it out. And when that switch flips, you start getting very motivated. And then as you start getting motivated, the mental part and the energetic, emotional part line up, you move into mastery, boom, you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. So here's a picture of what that looks like. And this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen ever. I did not create this. I use it in all of my companies, but I love this. And it's really the process by which you break through that. So here we are in our comfort zone, right? We've come to this session today. We've identified these things that we've wanted. We've identified these things that are holding us back. When we identify those things that are holding us back, you probably felt fear. That would be the normal thing, right? And so whenever we identify what's holding us back and we feel that sense of fear, we think we need to retreat because it's more comfortable. And that's what causes the back and forth, the back and forth. So just imagine an athlete that's in a championship situation. If they start thinking about what's holding them back and they start focusing on, can I make the shot? Do we have enough time? Are we in the right position to do this? If they start thinking about that, fear grows and it blocks their success and then they retreat. And again, all athletes know this science. And the key is to move through the fear zone, to move past the fear and to take action in a very specific way, which I'm going to show you how to do, so that you move past that fear and you move into the learning zone. Okay, great. What's next? What do I need to learn next? Got it. Okay, wait, great. What's next? And you don't have that stop back and forth that we talked about a minute ago. So before we actually go through what we call LEAP, to actually do some of this, does anybody have any clarifying questions or anything about this dynamic that is part mental, 1/3 mental and 2/3 energy, that I can address before we actually start cracking the nut? All right, here we go. So the key is mindset and energy and where you're focused. So if you are focused on what's not working, if you are focused on what you're afraid of, if you're focused on what you do or don't know how to do, if your focus is off, your mindset and your energy is going to be off. These three things have to be in alignment. So the first thing that we have to do from our research is we have to clear our energy. We have to get some of the negative energy out of the way. And it's a 3-step process. By the way, if you've ever taken the success shift, it's the same thing, the success switch, it's the same thing there. So what happens is the first thing we're going to do, and make sure you're on mute when you do this, and I want you to do it exactly how I tell you, we need to acknowledge the part of us that's either afraid or doesn't know. We need to call it out of the shadows because it is dragging our energy down. And the way that you do that is you use the prompt, the truth is I feel. And so I would say that, the truth is I feel tired because I didn't sleep very well last night. Somebody else might say, the truth is I feel anxious, or the truth is I feel afraid, or the truth is I'm not sure what I want. So give yourself that phrase, say it out loud, make sure you're on mute. and do the truth is, and then I'm going to talk about what might have come up. So give you about 10 seconds to do that. The truth is I feel, and let whatever comes up come up. Now, a small percentage of you may have had something positive come up, like I'm feeling excited right now. And that's great, because a lot of times when we start connecting these dots for people, they get very excited because they're like, that's exactly what I'm doing. So that's good. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. A lot of times what's going to come up is frustrated. If you feel blocked or you feel like you're not sure, afraid, stressed, business can be very stressful. So whatever comes up, comes up. The power is, it doesn't matter what comes up. All we're going to do now is we're going to reset the part of our brain that controls our energy. And we're just going to take 4 cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So here we go. Breath number 1. And then just drop it. You'll notice kind of the pressure coming down. Breath number 2, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breath 3. And breath 4. We call that the ABCs. What you have just done is you've cleared your energy in your body, and you've opened up a part of your mind. We've turned off the amygdala and we've turned on the prefrontal cortex. And now we are now ready to claim something new. All right. So that's going to take us into step 2. So all of that is step 1. You're going to love step 2. Put yourself off of camera, because I really want you to do this physically. You'll feel too self-conscious if you're on camera. Trust me, I'm going to do it on camera so you can see me do it. But the second step is to be present. Hopefully you guys can, hopefully you can see me. So I want you to stand up, and I want you to point to the future in front of you. And now point to the past behind you. Again, point to the future, but pay attention to how you're feeling. Like, how do I feel about the future out there? I got a little anxiety. There's all this political stress. Point to the past. How do you feel about the past? Wow, I made a lot of mistakes. They're kind of like they're like the monkey on my back. So pay attention to that. Now we're going to shift it. So the ego sees time horizontal. So the ego sees time, the future is out there, and it sees the past behind us. We're going to shift that. We're going to create an aligned sense of time. So stand up again. This time, I want you to see the past underneath you. It is the rock on which I stand. Every mistake that I made is the rock on which I stand. Just feel the strength of your past there. The past is underneath me. Wow, that feels really, really solid. And now just kind of raise your hand straight up, and I'll sit down so you can see this. The future is here. I'm growing into the future. I'm growing into the person that can attract what I want to attract. I'm growing into the person who has the skills necessary to be in that box that Terry talked about, that mastery box. I'm growing into the person who makes a huge difference in the world, and feel that alignment. That's what alignment feels like. And now we're standing in the present. The past, all the mistakes and the challenges and the fears and the doubts, they are the rock on which we stand. Feel how solid that feels. And I'm simply growing and moving into the future of the life that I want to create. So I'd love for you guys to comment on how that feels, because that's when we talk about alignment, that's what alignment feels like. And anybody want to share, and you can come off a camera or stay off either way, but I'd love for you guys to share how that feels in your body.
It's for me, it's definitely a stronger vibration, literally a vibration.
It's a vibration. Bingo,
Yeah.
Nikki.
I'll admit it definitely is empowering. When I reached up and I pointed forward, for me, it kind of made me feel excitedly nervous, which lets me know I want to continue to lean into that. It gives me something to look forward to. Like, well, I've had that feeling versus when I look back, I'm like, I feel kind of disgusted. But then the first thing came to mind before you said it about looking down at my past, it felt solid. It felt strong. I felt ready. From where I've come from, it's like, yeah, I made those mistakes, but now look what I know from it.
Yeah, powerful. And I want to key in on something you said, Teresa. So our whole society is wired to believe the future is in front of us and the past is behind us. Think about all the things. You've got your whole future ahead of you. Oh, his past caught up with him, right? Our whole society globally, particularly in North America, is conditioned to believe this horizontal timeline. And that is not true. When you can get into energetic alignment, it changes your mind. Like, you think differently when you're in that alignment. Time is vertical. The past is truly behind us. Let me just get these out of the way. And the future is above us, and we are simply evolving and growing into that future. Now, that exercise that I just walked you through, clearing your energy and centering in the present, every time I fill my cup of water, which is at least 3 times a day, I do that exercise. And I reorient, I clear my energies, do the ABCs. And as I'm filling the cup, I set the cup down, I'm like, the past, I'm standing on my past. I'm growing into all of these amazing goals that I have, and I feel that alignment. And it literally takes 30 seconds to get back into alignment. Now, notice now that you're back into alignment, which took the clearing of the energy. By the way, the centering doesn't work as well if your energy is not clear. So the clearing the energy is step number 1. Centering in the present is step number 2. And by the way, that is 70% of creating prosperity, is getting your energy clear, getting yourself back in the present. Because when you think about when you're anxious, it's almost always because you're worried about the future, or, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to lose that client. But we see it in front of us instead of, when I'm in alignment, if I lose that client, a better one's coming. And anything that I learned from the mistake that I made, I'm standing on it. So that's 70% of it. And when you get your body energetically back into alignment, everything else gets easier. The rest of it is just these last 2 steps. But these first 2 steps are really the key. Questions about the first 2 steps before I give you the last 2 steps? All right, let's keep going. So our energy is clear. We're back in the present. Feel how empowering that feels. Even if you're just sitting on your chair, like sometimes, I'm like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to lose a client or something like that. And I get scared and I can't actually stand up. I just sit and I feel myself like, hey, I'm feeling nice and solid. And, I'll just kind of lift my hands up like I'm stretching. And I just feel that moment of alignment. That's what we're really going for with these first 2 C's. The third C in this LEAP model is to claim the desire. And the way to do that, first of all, you can't really be thinking about your desires if your energy is not clear and you're centered. That's why we get too long with those things that we're saying and we get ourselves out of alignment. I want this, no, I want this, no, I want this. The clearing of the energy and centering in the present creates the alignment, and it's from the alignment that you can claim that desire. And the way that you claim the desire is you just use the prompt, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then whatever comes up, comes up. So make sure you're on mute. We've cleared our energy. We've centered in the present. We're feeling that alignment. And this thing that I want is up here. It's not out there. It's right here. I kind of picture it on my head, really close. And I'm so happy and grateful now that I create easy money. That's my desire, easy money. I want it to be easy. So do it out loud, feel the alignment. It helps when you're first learning how to do this to keep your hands up and to really stay in alignment. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and see what comes up. Anybody want to share?
What came up for me is like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I get to do meaningful work or work that's meaningful to me.
That's perfect. So that's your true desire at a very cellular level when you're in alignment. Love that. And so make it just be that. And you can add to it, I'm so happy and grateful now that I get to do meaningful work. I get paid to do meaningful work. That'll put the abundance in there. I'm so happy and grateful now that I get paid to do meaningful work.
Yeah,
Feel how true that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else want to share?
For me, it's been for me, I ended that phrase with being in the flow, because, as I mentioned, I'm healing physically, and that exercise was really energizing, and I felt myself kind of kick back into where I should have been or wanted to be.
Awesome. So for you, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm in the flow.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that. That feels good. One more
Yeah.
person to share?
I had a few, but one of them was that I'm so glad that I failed and I learned that lesson. Yeah,
I'm so happy and grateful. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm learning.
Yeah.
Did anything else come up that you want to share, Teresa?
I lost my thought for a second. I lost my thought. No. it was, but I lost it.
So what we have just done is we have cleared our energy, we've centered in the present, we've gotten ourselves back into alignment where we feel certain, right? And more certain than we did before. And by the way, if you keep doing this every day, like I said, you'll be 90 to 100% certain all the time, with very little exceptions, but it does take some practice. So from that state of alignment, which is the right side, now we're basically in the side of creation, which is the left side. And creation starts with claiming your desire or your intention, what it is that you really want to create. The last step is maintaining the state of certainty. And there's when we teach this whole method to our members, they go through an 8-week intensive on this. One of the things that they learn how to do is to use music to shift their state of certainty. But the other thing that you can do is, so I've claimed my desire, right? And so I'm so happy and grateful now that I get paid. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Janice. I get paid to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Janice?
I get paid to do meaningful work.
I get paid to do meaningful work. So if that was my intention, right? And so now I'm like, wow, yeah, that feels good. And you're feeling the certainty of it. Now you can ask this last little step. This is a cool part. And you could just simply say, and the next step that I need to take is, and then whatever comes up is for you to do. So try that. So go through, let's do the 4 together so we can make sure we're back into alignment. So we're going to do all 4 steps together. Make sure you're on mute. So we're going to go starting with clearing the energy, which is ABC. The truth is, I feel. Whatever comes up, doesn't matter. Just say it out loud. What that's doing is that's turning off your amygdala, which is the part of our brain that's afraid. turns it off, and it switches on another part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex. So the truth is, I feel whatever comes up, comes up. Now we breathe 4 breaths. Breath 2, always in through the nose and out through the mouth for this. Feeling that release. Breath 3. And breath 4. Give yourself just a couple of seconds to feel the blood pressure coming down, calming. Now I'm standing on my past. It is the rock on which I stand. I'm growing into the future. God, that just feels so good. That's what alignment feels like physically. Oh, wow, that feels so good. You'll notice you feel more certain when you're standing like that, or sometimes I can't do that. Like I go to a networking event and I'm a huge introvert, so networking is hard and I can't stand there and put my arms up. But I will imagine I'll be standing at the counter, standing on my past, and I'll imagine my arms up so that I feel that connection. It's like, wow, that feels really, really good. And then we go, now we're in alignment, right? So we feel that alignment. Now we want to claim, and we use the prompt, I'm so happy and grateful now that. Let that intention come up. Feel how certain, it's like infused with a lot more certainty. And then we ask the last question, which is the step that I need to create this is, or the next step that I need to take to create this is, and whatever comes up, comes up. And that's it. So that is a powerful method. What we've done with this method through brain science, through energy work, is we have our mind and our energy in alignment, and we are focused on what we want. So the focusing is on the left, claiming the desires and state of certainty, and the mindset and energy alignment is on the right. So mindset and energy is on the right, focus is on the left, claiming and then moving into that state of certainty and just feeling how certain it is. Yes, I got this. I know how to do this. I can do it. And when you're in that state of certainty, and you don't need to be 100% certain, you can be 70% certain, 80% certain. When you're in that state of certainty, you believe you can do it. And as long as you stay focused on what that intention is, what that desire is, and you stay focused on keeping your energy in that state of certainty, you can create whatever you want to create. And so that's what we call LEAP into prosperity. LEAP stands for let energy attract prosperity, because the power in this is how the energy in your body changes what your mind is thinking. And as I mentioned, there's an 8-week program that every single member gets to go through, where we literally, each one of these steps, we master each one of these steps, because that's what really shifts you into overdrive. And that's how it works. And you've got it. You'll also have the recording. I do want to talk a little bit though, and then I'll take a couple of questions in terms of what is a state of certainty. So the state of certainty part is a really important aspect of, I believe, business success. I believe athletes. So remember that freshman that I talked about on South Carolina in the women's game, when she took that shot right before halftime to, they were ahead by 1 point, I think it was. She was in a state of certainty. And so a state of certainty is relaxed. It's a state of trusting, but it's also combined with an expectation that we have the power to create our desire. What I found from my research is the people who are consistently successful at achieving their goals are able to move their mind and their body into a state of certainty. And that is really the key. And so that process that we just went through, that tool, those 4 steps, that's the tool that I developed to put myself into a state of certainty so that I could achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve. Now, how do you do it is you got to focus and practice. So you got to build that state of certainty in your mind and in your body by just simply repeating these 4 steps that you just went through. And if you just repeat them and repeat them and repeat them, cut that section, off the video where we walk through that exercise, do it again and again and again. You're going to be like that athlete that can stand there and make that 3-point shot to make the game go forward. So I'm going to wrap up and then I'm going to turn the recording off. Just to remind you, we've got 2 other events focused on growing your business. On April 17th, you'll meet one of our experts, one of our coaches. She leads the demand generation. So demand generation is how do I get new clients? You can meet with her on April 17th. We'll be interviewing her and she'll be giving you some of her techniques. She's also going to be talking about confidence. And then on April 23rd is the methodology that we teach on how to grow your business by really learning how to talk about the value and build relationships based on value. All right, let me just turn the recording off here and